Hey guys, it's Jang again from the friendly forums at ultimaterc.com, and I'm here again to give you a little bit more of a tip session about soldering. This time I'm going to be looking at a specific question about how to lengthen a wire. So if you have a wire that's attached to something and it is too short and you need to add some wire onto it, how do you do that? I've got just a little old test, what they call a pigtail, just a couple pieces of wire with a connector at the end. And what we're going to do today is pretend that this end back here is connected to a speed control or to a motor, and it is something that cannot be easily removed, or it cannot be removed without voiding a warranty. First thing, of course, is to take the heat shrink that's already on there off, because I'm now going to desolder this end. Now if you are using Dean's connectors or any other blade type connector, it's always good to connect the opposite side to it, like so. It helps to keep the blades or the conductors lined up properly, because the soldering process can heat up the plastic quite a bit and get it soft, and then those metal parts may start moving in there. And here I'm going to use my third hand to hold on to the other end. So you see that only took a second because it was pretend. So now this is the wire that, remember, imagining this is connected to the speed control at the other end. This is now the free wire that I want to attach my other wire to. This is my extended wire that I want to add on. Now in this case, both ends are tinned. As I mentioned in my soldering tips video, the best connection that you can get electrically between two objects is directly between those two objects with no solder in between. So in this case, what I've done here is I've snipped off the ends, the tinned or soldered up ends of both of them. And now I'm going to get my wire stripper. I'm going to take off about, I don't know, it's something like 1/4 of an inch of insulation from the end. There we go. And now I've got these exposed braids at both ends, and they're twisted a little bit. I'm actually going to untwist them a little bit and open them up like so. So now I've got these really ugly braided ends that just look like they're just coming apart. The reason that I did this is I'm now going to push these together and start trying to massage them together, because again, you want to have maximum contact between metal parts, not between metal and solder. All those braids are trying to keep themselves together, and then once I've got it far enough in, I'm just going to roll it between my fingers a little bit to make it smaller again. So that alone is actually a fairly good electrical connection. Now go back to my soldering iron and add the solder now, and I'm going to actually wick. So I'm heating the solder itself, I'm heating the wires themselves, and I'm just going to wick some solder into the wires. There we go. So now it's a nice shiny even coat all the way around there, and that solder is acting to physically hold together those wires. The solder here is not creating the electrical connection, it's just holding the wires together. And then of course you always want to put some heat shrink over any exposed electrical connection. Really quickly, get some heat over it. All shrunk down. This is the closest that you're going to find, like I said, to a solid single wire. After you've done the same process for all of your wires that need to be extended, go back to your other end, which is free, and strip the insulation off. just enough to connect to your connector. I can use my third hand to hold it very briefly. Tin that wire. Get a little bit of heat shrink cut. Apply that from the free end and just slide it way on down there for later use. Just apply some heat here and a little bit of downward pressure so that I'm pushing the two objects together, the connector and the wire. And then once it's cooled down, pull this out, slide my heat shrink right up on there, shrink it up, and there you go. So this wire has now been extended. It's safe, it's protected from shorting. I've braided the wires together so that there is maximum electrical conductivity through this joint. It's a connection from wire to wire, not from wire to solder to wire. The solder is only helping to physically hold these wires together, and they are not going to pull apart no matter what, I guarantee. And then I'm going right back to my original connector, and I can take this extra piece off. So you just repeat that however many times that you need to extend different wires together. Make sure you're using the same or very close to the same gauge of wire, preferably the exact same gauge of wire, before and after. Use the same gauge on all of the wires that are in parallel, and you're done. That's how you can extend a wire easily without having to replace the entire thing. Hope that's useful. Talk to you guys again soon, and I hope to see you on the friendly forums at ultimaterc.com. Bye for now.